Hello and welcome to this UniTaster On Demand event. My name is John Cheek. I'm here from UniTasterDays and I'm going to be hosting this event today. And with these events, we provide introductions to studying different subjects at university. Today, we're going to be looking at health and exercise science. And I'm delighted to be joined by Martin Skivington. Martin is joining us from Solent University in Southampton. And Martin's going to provide a guide to what to expect on a health and exercise science course, reasons you might want to consider it, some application tips, and an overview of careers and what people that have completed the course go on to do as well. With these events, I'm always conscious that you tune in to hear from the speaker, not for myself, so I'll keep the introduction really short. So I'll pass things now to Martin, the head of the School of Applied Health and Life Science at Solent University, Southampton. Martin, over to you, please.
Thank you, John. As John said, my name is Martin Skivington. I'm Head of School of Applied Health and Life Sciences at Solent University in Southampton. And as he mentioned, I'm going to be talking about university study in the subject area of health and exercise science. Now, just a very small bit of background about myself. I've been working at Solent University for almost 30 years. And when I did my degree many years ago, it was in sports science. And the study of health and exercise science has evolved from the subject discipline of sports science. It wasn't available back in the day, but because of the numerous new career pathways that are available now, it has become a subject discipline in its own right. So the first thing I thought I'd do is just talk you through some of the different options available to you. If you do a UCAS search for health and exercise science, you will find quite a wide variety of different subject titles, all within the same realm of study, but they all will have slightly different unique selling points, content, etc. So what I would really urge you to do is to think about a number of things. First of all, the type of subject areas that specifically interest you, and look at the course titles to see whether those align with those areas that you might be interested in. So as you can see on the screen, we've got science courses or BSc in health and exercise science, and then you've got different variants. So some courses include nutrition within the title, some courses will focus on physical activity, some looking at the fitness angle, and some will include well-being. You can also study health and exercise science along with sport. So the course that I've slightly separated at the bottom there is a BSc in sport, health and exercise science. But just so that you're aware, I'm not going to be talking about that course or any sporting variant today. I'm primarily focusing on the courses that you see grouped together at the top there, because as soon as you bring sport into the mix, it will throw a whole different set of modules into the course structure. So I'd advise you to look very specifically at the course title before making any decisions about applying for any individual course. So in terms of why this is a good subject area to study, well, first of all, it's the fact that you've tuned into this little webinar hopefully means that you've got an interest in the subject area, and it enables you to go on and study a subject area which hopefully you're passionate about. We always say that when you're studying a 3-year degree course, it really is important that it's something that you're interested in, because you'll find that it just becomes a much more enjoyable experience. In terms of future careers, there's a massive array of different careers within a huge expanding employment sector. And I'm going to run through a whole host of options that might be available to you towards the end of this presentation. Most people want to study this subject area because they want to make a real positive difference to people's lives, to the health of local communities. And in doing so, on your course, you'll probably find that there are opportunities to get involved in lots of practical experiences, what we call real world experiences, potentially placement opportunities, and also maybe to gain some extra added value industry qualifications, which a lot of universities will include as part of their offering. So what I thought I'd do is just show you a sample course structure. Obviously, this is the one that we run at Solent University, which is Health, Nutrition and Exercise Science. But I think it's going to be indicative of a lot of courses across the sector. You know, like I said at the start, each course and each university will have its own strengths and subject areas. But what we offer, I think, is probably indicative of what you're likely to get on a course of this nature. You'll notice as well that ours is health, nutrition and exercise science. So that should suggest, and is actually the case, that there is a strand of nutrition modules running through the degree. Ours is slightly different in the sense that we have two pathways. So every student will study a common level 4 or first year, and some of the subject areas are research methods, which prepares you for your dissertation or your project when you get further down the line into your final year. And we have modules in gym instruction, we have kind of health promotion type modules, health and exercise psychology, which clearly is a key factor when you're looking at behavior change. Then we have a strand of nutrition and exercise physiology, which you'd probably expect from an exercise science course. The two pathways that we have may be indicative of the types of modules that you would get in some of the courses that I showed you at the start. So we have a first pathway in fitness and personal training. So one of the courses at the start had fitness in the title. And if that's the case, you'll probably find that there will be modules that link to personal training, and maybe along the lines of exercise referral or strength and conditioning. And we also have, you know, continuation of nutrition with an obesity and weight management module. And we also have a more health and exercise science aligned pathway. So less concerned about personal training, but more looking at exercise referral. So looking at clients that are prescribed exercise as medicine, and looking at the development of how we can build a healthy and sustainable future. We also have option pathways within our, or option choices, should I say, within our option pathways. And this is something that it's really useful for you to look out for when you're looking at your UCAS courses and going to the individual university websites to see whether there are options available, because that will give you a chance to specialize in areas of your preference or career aspirations. In your final year, whichever course you do at whichever university, it's very likely you'll be doing an individual project. And then again, the themes just continue so that there are strands of nutrition, applied health science, the personal training side of things, clinical exercise rehabilitation. These all kind of progress into higher level modules at level 6. The important note that I've put at the top here is that all university courses will have slightly different modules. I think health and exercise science is one of those subject areas where there is a degree of flexibility at university level to include modules that may vary across universities. So it's really important that you go to the course web pages and even more importantly, attend open days. Because you've got to make sure that not only the course matches your expectations, but also the university and the location, the city. You're going to be there for 3, maybe 4 years. So it's really important you choose somewhere that you're going to enjoy. So all university courses will have the following sort of progression of knowledge throughout the 3 years. The first year is there designed to give you the underpinning knowledge, which you'll then build on and apply in your second year. Depending on the course, there may well be an optional placement year, which gives you the chance to go out and work in industry, potentially earn some money for a year, or you just progress straight into your third year, where there is more independent study and you will be expected to work kind of on your own devices more towards a project and other modules that you've chosen through any option choices. So the stuff that students tend to dislike, but we have to do it, unfortunately, is assess you. And the good news is that most universities now are moving to a much more varied menu of assessments. Long gone are the days where you will sit in exam halls writing long essays, because that's not what the health and exercise sector requires of its graduates. So you'll get a real mix. There'll be probably practical simulations, real world projects. You'll be doing presentations, both individually and group. Some of those may be submitted via video. We're all being far more flexible now and inclusive with our assessment choices. Conference posters, lab reports, the use of blogs online, and reflective logs, oral assessments. You will get a really wide mixture of everything. And as I said earlier, the inclusive nature of university assessments now means that there is far more choice and far more availability for students to submit assessments in modes that actually match their skills and expertise. Something else that you might want to look out for is any additional qualifications that are available as part of your course, as well as any professional accreditations. So a professional accreditation would be something along the lines of BASES, which is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science, or the Association for Nutrition, or SimSpa. And if your course at university has that accreditation, it means it has met a very strict set of standards, which when you graduate satisfies employers and means that they are confident that you have met these minimum industry standards. The inclusion of added value qualifications is something, again, that different universities have different availability. Some offer no awards, some offer a few, some will offer a wide spectrum of awards, and some of them will be free, some of them will be cheap, and some of them will be very expensive. So all of these types of issues, you do need to do your background reading and your research on them. Some of the ones that we offer, again, indicative probably across the sector: gym instructor qualification, personal trainer, advanced personal trainer, exercise referral qualifications, and a whole host of others. I won't read them out. One of the things that universities will be really keen to promote now is this idea of real-world learning. So the learning that you will experience is linked to real-world type initiatives and activities. So the examples I've got on screen here are clearly linked to our university. We offer a number of initiatives: personal training, online personal training, nutrition, exercise referral, etc. And as an example, we run a very, very successful, and it's an award-winning Solent PT initiative. And the images that you can see on the screen there are all taken during live sessions where we get students on our health, nutrition and exercise science course to work with real world clients. And in this particular example, they're all members of staff from the university, so that these students will gain real world experience, kind of on the job skills, but done in a very safe and supportive setting of our own university teaching gym. And these are the types of things that really enhance your employability prospects, not to mention, you know, you're kind of boosting your CV. So in terms of some tips on how to apply for a health and nutrition or health and exercise science course, first of all, do your homework. Make sure that you know what each specific course focuses on, because there are differences, as I've alluded to today, and there will be nothing worse than turning up to a university course expecting there to be a strand of nutrition, and there isn't, and purely because you haven't done your homework to read up on what modules and subject areas are included. When you apply, I think it's really important in your personal statement that you identify what aspect of the course appeals to you. Now, this does two things. First of all, it will show that you've done your homework and that you know what the course consists of, which university admissions tutors will really appreciate. And it also shows which area of industry you potentially want to move into. So maybe looking at career aspirations, although you may not know those at the stage of application. I think it's also important that you outline any skills or experience that you feel could benefit the university. So maybe you're already coming with some level of qualifications, some level of work experience. Maybe that you're a mature student and that you bring real world, you know, employment experience from a different sector potentially. I think some of the best students that we get do have, you know, they have come from sometimes other employment sectors. You know, you get people that have worked in a bank for 10 years that suddenly get a passion, you know, they want to actually study their passion, and they move into one of these degree courses and they bring those real world skills, and they've got the experience, the people skills. So even if you haven't, you know, you're coming straight from school, there will be things that you've done at school or college. So anything over and above your academic subjects could really make a difference, and show that you're willing to, you know, kind of go over and above just the academic curriculum. So finally, just to talk about the different types of careers, and this is not an exhaustive list. These are examples of some of the employment or employable positions that graduates from our course have gone on to, and certainly they're the types of careers that we would expect any graduate from a health and exercise science course to be more than capable of applying for and hopefully being successful. So I'm not going to read them out, but you can see there that, as I mentioned earlier, when I was going through the types of strands of subject areas within our course in particular, you know, there are jobs within nutrition, there are jobs within fitness and personal training, there are jobs as exercise physiologists, there are jobs as health promotion officers, and there's a number which have got brackets after them which suggests that you might want to go into further study at master's level. And there's also nothing to stop you going on to a postgraduate certificate in education course and becoming a teacher, following on from an undergraduate course in health and exercise science. So that basically wraps up my presentation. I hope you found it useful.